All right, all right. Happy Friday. We almost got to the end of the loop on the beat. I think everybody was, is it going to resume? Is it not going to resume? But we are live at 9:30 a.m. ET from an undisclosed location with Mag and Barry. Are
The
joined
the Poconos.
the
Yeah.
Poconos. This time we got them together, same room, same camera, joining us for the launch of IBC Eureka. We're just getting started on this stream. Some people are rolling in, but if you didn't see our socials yesterday or the last couple of days, IBC Eureka just launched. It's been a lot of work, massive effort across the ecosystem, a lot of early integrators, adopters, partners, all the Babylon folks and BTC LSTs, Cosmos protocols and chains, projects, Kepler, Leap. I think, yeah, half the ecosystem. So it's been quite some time of us working on this, but it's still fun enough the first 90 days. And pretty exciting mark to land on if we cheat a little bit. It's April 11th, so 110th place. Welcome again. Welcome, Barry. Welcome, Mag. How are you guys doing?
Super good. Super good. Exhausted. I think I slept like a total of 8 hours in the past 3 days. And that's definitely true for a huge percentage of the team, especially our incredible engineering team. And last night, for the first time, I slept like for a full 8 hours, and it was incredible. And I'm so excited to like have this out in the world and to start to get people to use it and improve it. So feeling really good.
Yeah. I mean, basically same. The amount of work, dedication, and labor that went into shipping Eureka, the audits, the 5 different versions of the protocol that we wrote, connecting everything together, running the relayers, running the provers, running all the analytics, running everything that goes into shipping something like this is just getting that together. And I mean, it's not like we started it on like day one, right? It's like we started like 45 minutes ago, and getting that live was like honestly like one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I also think it's worth just saying, thank you to all the people who were involved. Obviously, that's the Interchain Labs team, but there's actually a ton of other teams that have made direct and indirect contributions to Eureka over the years. Succinct, a ton of our relaying partners, the union team, the informal team, a bunch of folks who've been working on expanding IBC in different ways for a long time, like Polymer and Landslide. And, we couldn't have done it without these folks. And we're so grateful for their contributions and to have an opportunity to be a part of this moment for the Cosmos ecosystem.
It's been a lot of pieces put together, and it has a little bit of history in terms of what you guys brought to the table when you joined, let's say, the body of the ICF and ICL was formed. You want to take it away a little bit, Barry, on that history of how IBC Eureka actually came to be and how, that legacy from Skip kind of added those little pieces that were missing?
Yeah, totally. I think when I think about Eureka, for me and for IBC, really what we work backwards from is trying to build the next generation of the internet, a more fair, a more open, a more accessible and decentralized internet. That's truly the vision of Cosmos. I think there are a lot of different infrastructure projects in crypto where that's a part of their vision or they want to work on that. But Cosmos, I think, is the only ecosystem that has ever approached that from first principles, saying, okay, if we're going to build the next generation of the internet, we need to start with something that is infinitely horizontally scalable, that can be peer-to-peer, that can be totally neutral, and that can connect any different kind of crypto application or blockchain. And that's the vision of IBC, right? Only something like that, only this kind of peer-to-peer neutral communication protocol could really be the basis for the new internet. Just like with the internet that we have today is based on TCP/IP and HTTP and HTTPS. These are communication protocols, right? They're not security sharing mechanisms. They're not tokens or economic mechanisms. You don't need to pay someone to be able to build in the internet or access the internet or participate in it, right? And that's the sort of dream of IBC. It always has been. But it was really hard, I think, for a long time for IBC to actually reach that lofty goal. When the protocol was originally designed, it was designed in a really kind of thoughtful but very complicated way. And the brilliant IBC protocol team over the past, honestly, the past year took a look at that and said, hey, this is not going to build the internet of blockchains. We actually have to iterate on the protocol and change it dramatically to be able to reach that vision. And they did that. And they built a much simpler, very flexible, still super secure protocol. And the way it connected to Skip was, for the original IBC, we had always been working on interop. Like our whole thing before this was trying to make IBC work really well. We were standing on the shoulders of the IBC protocol team then, but we weren't, working as closely with them when we built Skip Go and the Skip API and all of this infrastructure that powers actually a huge percentage of IBC transactions. And people might not even know that. It's in Kepler, it's in DYDX, it's in Osmosis, it's in Polaris, it's all over the place, right? We had this goal then of saying, okay, we have this incredible protocol, we have this incredible vision for the internet of blockchains. Let's make it super easy to use. Let's make it easy for developers to plug into, and let's make it really cheap and accessible and fast. And that was what we were working on the Skip side. And so bringing those two things together, the focus on the user experience and the developer experience, and this incredible protocol level innovation is really where kind of Eureka was born.
It's a vertical integration across every little bit of the stack, the application level, product level. It's treating interoperability different. I think we talked about it briefly with the team as well, where it's not just releasing TCP to the world or HTTP and let it be, but actually building the surrounding things that actually help it be adopted, help it be successful, and in the end, as far as the user experience that you get, help it drive a good one. And with this, we attach a label to Eureka, which is the end cost, having it cost the end of the bridging era. Mag, you want to dive a little bit into that? What makes Eureka different from, let's say, bridges, other interop protocols that would help end the bridging era or take us to a different paradigm of what security and trust actually means when interacting between protocols?
Yeah. So starting out with it, answering this question, I think the thing that we say a lot and what we really do believe is that Eureka is not a bridge, right? We're not trying to take over Layer 0 or Wormhole or Axelar or any of these other folks. Eureka is the distribution rails for basically what we're building over a much longer term, which is the best multi-chain developer platform that exists in crypto. Eureka is so different from how other bridges work. It lets you basically permissionlessly and openly access state and data, and of course, transfer assets between any different blockchain. It brings the incredible light client security properties, speed, and cheapness of IBC everywhere. And that lets us basically build a new class of applications on the Cosmos Hub, which can then distribute over Eureka to basically access everywhere. And so Eureka is the first step of building a platform. It's not a bridge. That said, what we wanted to show from day one was that it's such an incredible innovation, and it's such a good distribution platform that we could have a ton of partners who basically want to use it immediately, right? Like as soon as we launched. And so to basically have that, one, we partnered with Babylon very closely as their launch partner. They're using Eureka to basically export Baby from Babylon main chain to Ethereum. And then also we partnered with all of the big Bitcoin issuers, Lombard, Solve, Kinza, Bedrock, Lorenzo, et cetera, et cetera. And they're using Eureka to import a huge amount of Bitcoin from Ethereum into Cosmos and into Babylon. And then we expanded that to other Cosmos chains too. We have Mantra as a partner. We have Nillion, Injective, DYDX, ZK Cloud. We wanted to show that Eureka could really go everywhere and that it could be a partner to applications for how they can distribute their functionality and their users and their use cases. So what makes it the end of the bridging era is, one, it breaks down a lot of the assumptions that I think we have built in for what bridges are, right? Right now, bridges are sort of this like secondary trust assumption, right? Where basically you want to talk to your friend. Bridges are the weird guy in the middle who you have to like, tell him something like, I don't really know who you are. And then the bridge is like, sure, I'll tell,
Trust me, bro.
Exactly. Trust me, bro. We don't have that anymore. Like
$50, but I will tell. $50, but I will tell.
Yeah, exactly. Now we've gotten rid of the weird friend, and like we can talk directly to our friend, and we can do that for much cheaper, right? I mean, as you've seen with Eureka, like the transfers are costing in the tens of cents to $1. Sometimes a little bit more if Ethereum gas is high, and much faster, right? People were noticing that it takes about 45 seconds, and it's going to come down to get to Ethereum from Cosmos. And it takes, if you're transferring over $100 and you're using our fast transfer liquidity network, 15 seconds to come back, right? Like it's just literally so much of a better product. And we truly believe that. And it's something that can be programmed permissionlessly, it can be adopted. And I think one thing to really note is, IBC still really is the only actually adopted and promoted bridging protocol by a lot of different teams, right? So, Layer Zero at Axelar, Wormhole, like all these other folks, where are the other teams that are pushing those, right? IBC has Union, it has Polymer, it has all the different relayer companies, right? It has all these different chains. They're all pushing IBC as a team. It's really like it's an ecosystem, right? Versus just a bridge. And we think that's what the future looks like.
Yeah. I think that idea is so important, right? It like we want the Cosmos Hub to become, and we're starting to do a lot of interesting things to make it this incredible platform for applications that want to be multi-chain. And IBC is going to be the connective tissue, the rails that let them do that. But we're not the only team that's actually working on IBC powered platforms or connectivity or anything like that. It's already everywhere in the Cosmos ecosystem. Initia is launching with IBC, connecting all of their Initias. Dimension uses IBC. Celestia is going to be using IBC to import assets. The Union team is expanding IBC. The Polymer team is expanding IBC. Landslide is expanding IBC. We're expanding IBC. It's like actually a movement more than just like, okay, like one little thing or one little protocol. And I just think that's so special, and we're really excited for the role that the hub is going to play, and the role of the Cosmos ecosystem is going to play in that movement.
It's almost, aside from an ecosystem, it's its own little economy. There's different roles people play, platforms, relayers. The provers now as well that will jump into the table. There are some things as well that will come to be defined in the next couple of months as IBC Eureka grows. What can we expect at least now? First, more narrowly within Eureka for like its next phases or next updates and releases. What are we looking at?
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot. The thing that I have been saying a lot internally to the team is that really like this release is the first step. I think in crypto, like the norm historically is like, all right, we raise a lot of money, we do nothing for like 2 years, or we're building, but like we're not going to release anything, and then like boom, we're going to release something, and we're done, and like that's it. That is not how we operate. That's never how we've operated. We don't know how to operate that way, because for us, it's so important to be able to work with teams and customers along the way to evolve as their businesses evolve and help them scale and help them win, and to be able to do that with really fast iteration loops. And so this is like the first moment of Eureka. It's not like the culmination of Eureka. The announcement was incredible, and I think we've had like 1 million views on it so far, and so people might be thinking, "Hey, look, oh, this is the end. Like this is what it is," and it's really not. It's like, okay, the actual tip of the iceberg. So there's a lot that we're going to be doing.
Just to put that in perspective, when IBC first came out, right, like V1, like nobody used it for a very long time, and then like people tried, failed, and then like Osmosis figured it out, and that was a big moment. And then Skip Go came years later. It's going to be faster, hopefully this time. But it takes time for these things to build, and yeah.
Yeah, and part of the change, between V1, V2, and Eureka itself is how easy it is to integrate. I remember when we did, I think, the presentation back in Cosmoverse in one of the launches, we had the timeline of adoption. It was like first year, one chain, the hub, of course, then a handful probably in a year. But like, I think it was year 2 or that we already had 50. And by the next year, it had doubled already to almost 100. So once it sticks, it's super exponential. And, we are seeing now practically the first chain, if not one of the toughest to bring onto the table, which is Ethereum. It doesn't have, instant finality at all, as we are accustomed to here in Cosmos. And now as we've had that expansion of before were just the Cosmos native chains, we might see the same thing roll out and happen from this other vector of chains, right?
And I think that exponential growth is what it looks like to be a part of a movement, and not just pushing some protocol independently, right? And so a lot of the work that we are going to be doing over the next couple of months is all designed to accelerate that expansion and adoption and make it easier for more teams to contribute to Eureka and more teams to use it. So that there's 3 major parts of that. One is contract call functionality. So right now, the core use case of Eureka is moving an asset from one place to another. But there are so many partners who we already have, or who we want to talk to, or who we've met, who need to do a lot more than that, right? They need to be able to actually, and this is a big part of what we'll get into with the hub, build multi-chain applications where you want composability. You don't want to just send a token. You want to be able to interact with other chains. You want to be able to bring data back. You want to be able to aggregate over their state. You want to be able to do really expressive things. And even if you want to move assets, you might want to be able to program, okay, how can those be minted? How can they be burned? What are the rate limits? Who is blacklisted? Who is whitelisted? There's a lot of things that these RWA asset issuers, really need. And we're going to be putting together a lot of functionality for that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we want to make participation in the protocol a real ecosystem right now, right? We want to make it so relayers can help relay packets in Eureka and get paid well for doing it, which is a problem that IBC V1 has historically had. And we want to make sure that folks can build security modules and light clients and get paid for having those used. Again, this is a problem that IBC v1 never solved. And so the only team that was building light clients was the ICF team. And so what we want is actually to create marketplaces and ecosystems and economic mechanisms around those things so people can build whole businesses off of it, right? And you can say, okay, hey, I want to expand IBC to Solana, not because of like the good of my heart, but actually because when I do that, I'm going to be able to build my Solana application better, and I'm be able to justify the time that I'm going to spend contributing to that because I can participate in the upside there, and I can get paid. And then the last thing is obviously expansion, expanding to new chains, new VMs. We have plans for the SVM. We have plans for Move. We have plans for the ETH L2s and other kind of EVM equivalent L1s. And really what we're prioritizing is where users, right? Where's capital, and where do the developers who are building in the Cosmos ecosystem and on the Cosmos Hub want to access and compose with.
I think that list is good enough for now. It covers pretty much 99% of what they, so, I'll take it. But I'll capture one thing that you mentioned specifically, and it's like what things people want to access other than, just arbitrarily prioritizing by, we can get this connection, but more so what utility can you drive by, like smashing two protocols together, or by bringing these assets that, for example, in many ecosystems, let's say Ripple, do not have a native DeFi home yet, and giving them a native DeFi home somewhere else. And for participation, you can still see a lot of people in what would be the marketplace of V1 pushing. You mentioned a lot of people contributing back, right? Like Talk is another one. I think they also did some work on light clients, but without the marketplace and a proper fee mechanism set, it's very hard to actually be embedded. And yeah, it shows it's harder to contribute. But this is great strides towards the opposite side of that table, and I'm super excited for it. I think it'll feel a little bit more homogeneous, and all people contributing back to IBC will also feel more part of it. So I'm super, super excited for it. Let me step back a little bit from it. See the comment from David. Very nice painting behind you, man. Yes, 100%. Nice landscape. We can connect to it via Eureka. But Eureka, powered by Eureka. It's Eureka, as you said, it's only one bit of what we're envisioning. It's the rails or the distribution for actually getting multi-chain applications to become a reality, and for this to either export, import, or take their services everywhere. Let's dive a little bit into that more. So if IBC Eureka is one piece, how do you see the hub and the rest of the components that we have here in Cosmos filling in the gap of this multi-chain marketplace?
Yeah. So IBC Eureka is all the things that we mentioned so far. It is this, next generation distribution platform. It is a movement. It is an ecosystem. It is, also a substitute for a bridge that is cheaper and faster, and that basically a next generation interoperability protocol that's full stack. It is also the first product that the Cosmos Hub has ever offered to the wider ecosystem, right? So yes, finally we have something, right? We have a product that people want to use and are using on day one. That is one, driving value and utility to Atom and the Cosmos Hub. And two is doing it in a way that is not extractive, right? Or it's doing it in a way by providing a service, right? And something that is desired by other app chains in the ecosystem. And so that's really exciting. We wanted to find something in our first 90 days that crossed that chasm where, okay, it's good for the hub, right? And it does what the hub is designed to do. And it also is something that our customers really were looking for and wanted and are using, right? So that's another way of seeing IBC Eureka, and a big part of it.
And it's not minor. It's, if you see, again, original white paper, it's a little bit of part of it in terms of the idea they had for the hub.
Yeah.
Here we are. It's been 10 years, yes, but here we
Yeah.
are. And it's a monumental milestone. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, you're exactly right. Like this was a use case that I think was basically set out in the original Cosmos white paper.
Yeah, a decade ago.
And it makes so much sense, right? I mean, if you use the hub as a router for IBC, you get so many good qualities. One, you get a better sort of base version of every asset that is issued inside the ecosystem. And so you don't have 20 versions of ETH. You have one version. And then two, we're able to lower the cost of many things by using a central onboarding and offboarding point, which is the Cosmos Hub. So we can, for example, batch the proving cost for packets that are sent to Ethereum to lower the cost by a massive percentage on top of how cheap it already is. So like Eureka actually gets better as it scales. It gets cheaper as it scales. It gets faster as it scales. And that's like what a property that we were really excited about. But it is just the beginning. And what I mean by that is, Eureka is like building the railroad, in like, the Wild West, basically. And, you're using that railroad to transport resources to build something really big, like a city. And in this case, the city and the main thing that we're focused on is making the Cosmos Hub itself a platform for the best multi-chain applications and a new class of applications that can only exist on the Cosmos Hub using Eureka as distribution. So that basically means what is the new class of applications that can exist in crypto if you could access every blockchain like it was your own, right? And you could distribute to every user like they were on your ecosystem. And you could access all liquidity like it was locally, right? Like, what could you build, right? You can build a lot of very, like, just off the top of your head, you can build a lot of really cool stuff. You could build a lending market that has really high LTV because you can liquidate using external capital that exists on Ethereum, Solana, or somewhere else, right? You could build an NFT platform where it was super easy to trade your NFTs and transfer your NFTs between different ecosystems, right? You can build, if you're built on the hub and you can distribute anywhere over Eureka, the applications that are built on the hub have this amazing property of being able to service everyone in crypto as their customer. And so that's really the focus now, right? Like that's why we say Eureka is not a bridge. It's the distribution rails for something much bigger, which is the hub as this incredible multi-chain developer platform. And that's what we're going to be focused on for the next couple months. And the one of the ways we want to start that is by having an easy way to build on the Cosmos Hub. So right now you have to go through governance. That is hopefully all going to go away. It's going to be really easy and really simple just to permissionlessly deploy something on the Cosmos Hub. And two, making sure that Eureka is embedded enough inside that layer of how you build so that when you do build something, you can call Eureka and go everywhere, right? Not be restricted to Cosmos even. You can go to Solana, you can distribute to Ethereum, you can distribute to all the different L2s. You have like the tools locally to go multi-chain. And what that forms is the beginning of a two-sided marketplace, right? Where you have all the app chains and all the blockchains in across crypto, even Solana, Bitcoin, Cardano, XRP, everything. Those are our customers. And then you have the Cosmos Hub that sits in between them. And then on the other side, you have these multi-chain applications built on the Cosmos Hub, offering them services over Eureka, right? That's really powerful in our opinion. That's like a completely new way of thinking about crypto. You have service providers and you have app chains and blockchains and L1s and L2s, and the hub sits at the center and is the distribution lens or the distribution center, right? Is the router. And that's really our focus of what we want to build.
Yeah, I think Mag put it really well. The thing that we always got really excited about with the Cosmos ecosystem was this idea that it shouldn't matter, where you build in terms of where you can offer your services or where you can offer your product or what users you can interact with. The blockchains aren't hardware. Like, it's not your phone. Like, it's not like, okay, you can only have one or use one. It's the internet. Like, like Amazon doesn't just work for customers who are using AWS. That would be stupid. Like if the only businesses that could sell on Amazon had to use AWS, that would be absurd. You wouldn't build a business there. You would find a different way to build your business so you could sell your products to everyone. And for some reason in crypto, that's not the case right now, right? Your choice of developer platform is linked to your market size, to your TAM. And that like breaks the fundamental innovation of the internet, which is my TAM is everyone and everywhere, and I can access everyone across the globe. And crypto is even better than that because you can do that without getting in the way of government regulations and things like that have actually made the internet less global. But actually, there's no platform that gives you that today, that kind of global distribution. And so that's what we're super, super excited about for not just the Cosmos Hub, but the whole of the Cosmos ecosystem. App chains in the Cosmos ecosystem are going to have access to this platform too, just by way of connecting to the hub over IBC. Like, the IBC connection to the Cosmos Hub, if we do this really well, should give your protocol, your app chain, superpowered distribution, superpowered composability with other chains, not just in Cosmos, but everywhere, and superpowered connectivity. And it should happen really, really cheaply. Again, this gets better as we scale. And so it's just something, for the Cosmos Hub. It's really something that the Cosmos ecosystem gets better through, and the Cosmos Hub gets better as the Cosmos ecosystem gets better, right? Like, why are all of these, BTC LSTs choosing to use Eureka on day one? That's a big risk. It's a new bridge. The reason is that they want incredible access to the amazing chains that are built in the Cosmos ecosystem, starting with Babylon, but not just Babylon, right? Injective, DYDX, Neutron, Osmosis, just to name a few, right? And so we think that that's really exciting, and we're really excited to now that we have the first puzzle piece in place, start to build that over the next couple of years.
Yeah, with IBC Eureka, just quick, like, Ethereum is now a Cosmos chain, right? Solana is now a Cosmos chain. Like, these are now all our customers, right? These are now chains in our ecosystem, right? Using IBC Eureka. And so we're going to treat them like their app chains, right? And it makes total sense to. I mean, they're connected to IBC now. And so we can build applications that service all of those users.
I was going in the exact same direction, Mag. I was going to say, it's a service that goes both ways. After all, we hear a lot this from all the other chains, L1s, let's say, out there, that applications within them at one point say like, hey, I'm hitting a cap. After 4 years, my market within, let's say, Base has hit a roof because, there are glass walls. There's a limit on the users. Solana this year popped off, let's say, and all users are going there. So now there are customers, and now we're able to help them break those, glass walls, open their markets, and service them to expand. However that looks, right? By giving them functionality, allowing them to go elsewhere and serve any user. So it's very exciting. We'll see a lot of it coming from us outwardly, and then each new ecosystem we reach should be able to, expand as well.
Yeah. Maybe just one last point on that. There's been some like pushback that we've heard from, one or two app chains of like, oh my God, does this mean you're centralizing IBC? Does this mean every IBC transaction routes through the hub? Does this mean no one else can use it? And the answer is, of course, no. the whole reason that this works, and the whole reason we think that the hub can become this incredible platform, is because IBC is a neutral protocol that anyone can use in whatever manner that they want. So it's going to continue to expand faster and faster than we can expand it, and people are going to extend it. They're going to have direct connections to places that we won't, to one another. There's going to be this huge, really, like, if you think like global scale network that we need to create out of it. You don't have every single server call on the internet go to a single data center. That doesn't make any sense at all. The only reason you can get to internet scale is because they can go everywhere. We're going to build an incredible platform for it, and we're gonna work, night and day in the way that we do to bring as many applications onto that platform and connect as many app chains to that platform as we can, and help it work for them too. But folks are going to use IBC in a million different ways that we can't predict, and that we certainly don't want to control or try to insert ourselves in the middle of, right? That defeats the whole purpose here. So really, we're building this platform as a product, and a product for the ecosystem, not as something that tries to centralize the ecosystem, something that makes it better.
And also because it's one of the problems we see, like, can be tackled first, right? Like, we've spoken about liquidity and having access to assets across multiple ecosystems, how the hub can provide that access to chains who, as an L1, have that same trouble of like, oh, okay, I got to bootstrap myself from zero. So it's no chance, that we focused on this first use case on top of this platform. But as we said, this quarter will bring other stuff that we'll start focusing on. What are the type of multi-chain applications or maybe problems that you might see us focusing on these next couple months, or as the first multi-chain applications?
Yeah. There's, as Mag was kind of alluding to, there's a lot of different kinds of really interesting, much more powerful, more profitable or more efficient or more expansive DeFi applications that you can build once you can go multi-chain, and you can start to treat remote liquidity as local liquidity. That's really, really powerful. You can build better lending protocols. You can build better, yield generating and vault protocols. You can build better DEX. You can do lots of really interesting things. And we're not going to be doing all of these things ourselves, obviously. We're already pretty strapped and sleep deprived as it is. What we're going to be doing is building an ecosystem of teams that want to work really closely with us to build the first generation of this new kind of application, right? We're going to be discovering it in real time with these teams, and we're going to be working really closely with them. I think where we're going to start is on some of these interesting kinds of applications that Mag mentioned, and a focus on DeFi and on a lot of things that are proven in the Cosmos ecosystem that have been reasons people have been coming into the ecosystem for years. So that's really where we're going to be working on the application side. And I don't know, Mag, you maybe want to speak to it. I think there's some teams that we're working with already that we're really excited about. I don't think we can say who they are yet, but
yeah, we got some next generation applications coming to the hub. We're working with closely. Some are working out of our office in New York City. We're really excited about them, and we're working with them really closely to make sure they have working, highly liquid, well-distributed products on day one when they launch on the Cosmos Hub directly. And we can't say which, but these are applications that we have high confidence are only possible on the hub. They're a new class of applications. They have something that leverages Eureka and the hub's native point as a router within IBC Eureka to basically build a very unique set of functionality that we believe will be really useful for users.
It's going to be the first showcase as well. We plant a couple seeds, and I figure that everybody that's now in chat of the couple thousand people will have a lot of ideas as well in terms of what the multi-chain can do after.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear them from people. We're super excited about this. I can say on the infrastructure side a little bit of what we're going to be doing, and some of the first steps we're going to be taking to make this platform better, which is probably not surprising. We really are not yet happy with the state of onboarding to the platform. Right, Eureka is cheaper than many other onboarding tools and bridges, and it's faster in many cases, but it has its limitations, right? It doesn't always send you over the fast route, right? It's liquidity constrained, and it has a minimum, and you can end up waiting for 15 minutes as a result of that. That's not acceptable to us, right? That's not where we're going to be in a couple of months. Where we're going to be is you can have instant, almost free onboarding from anywhere that Eureka connects to in any size. That's what we see as possible, and we see really clear ways to get there. And we're going to be running at that along with these teams that are building with us, so that when you build on the hub and you launch there, the experience is going to be, oh shit, like I really do have access to all of the users in crypto. Like my limitation isn't, my blockchain anymore. And we're super close to this in reality. We think we're only a few months away.
It's tremendously exciting. We'll actually publish a little bit more on this after the town hall with a bit of a breakdown of everything we're going through. In long form, both like how we see, IBC Eureka and its next steps going, and as well this multi-sided or two-sided multi-chain development platform. It's been, again, 90 days. As you see, we've secluded the folks in a resting suite for 24 hours. Then they'll be back in the grind. But it's because we're tremendously happy about this and the work everybody put. And it's also exciting to see the next steps ahead of us and see that the ecosystem, cheers towards them. They make sense. It's not like we're wayfinding and putting our finger to the air. It's a different mode to be on, which is super exciting for everyone. I think we can see that very easily from everybody in the ecosystem. I can give a little bit of room now before we get to the closing side of the stream, or the closing point. If anyone has some questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I think we've been keeping an eye on them. One of the ones that I've seen was how Go Cosmos.network, which is the widget that we shared for the bridge, might integrate to other platforms like 1inch in the future. We might be able to take this in a direction of like, what does it look like to actually have Eureka in other ecosystems being well integrated?
Yeah. We would love that. Actually, there's, so Go Cosmos Network is powered by the developer API for cross-chain swaps and transfers that we built previously at Skip and have integrated Eureka into, and it supports 100 different Cosmos chains. It supports Ethereum, Solana, a bunch of bridges that actually aren't just Eureka, right? Because the goal is onboard from anywhere, incredibly cheaply, super fast, and Eureka is just getting started, right? And so we're working actually with a lot of other bridges and ensuring they're supported in there, and ensuring that onboarding experience is really great. That matters a lot for the Cosmos Hub as a platform. It matters a lot for the Cosmos ecosystem. It's not something that we see as competitive, and so we're actually already integrated into a ton of different wallets and cross-chain aggregators, things like Rango, things like Polaris, which is launching soon, Kepler, Leap, all of these big cross-chain wallets, the Cosmos Station wallet. And the next sort of iteration of that is, we're working with 1inch, we're working with Li-Fi, we're working with Squid, we're working with the teams in Solana to make sure that there's access there too. And it's already packaged up in a way that makes that really, really nice. And as we continue to see more exciting applications build on the hub and in the Cosmos ecosystem, those integrations are going to speed up, and you're going to start to see Cosmos assets everywhere.
One of the use cases there that I'm pretty excited for is the custodians and exchanges, through Eureka. Suddenly it's a different conversation for us. I think I've repeated this sometime, but it's, before, one integration to a Cosmos asset usually means just, you spin up your entire infra for that chain. Now with Eureka, we could say to an exchange, just hook up to the hub on Eureka and get, ability to list or exchange with any asset. Same for custodians. And that as a package experience should be able to take that very, very far. We have another question here from Curious J. What are some next gen apps you're excited about without giving them away? What categories, DEX aggregators, lending protocols?
Yeah, I think any class of application that could be served by basically extremely high distribution or extremely wide distribution and very, very cheap interoperability rails, and access to wider sets of capital and users and functionality across the interchain, or across, interchain, including Ethereum and Solana and Bitcoin, etc. So that does probably involve most of them. Most applications could be rebuilt in a way that is significantly better. But just to give you a couple of examples, you could build a AI powered, if you want, it doesn't have to be AI powered, but if you're sick if it was, you could build an AI powered yield aggregator that basically programmatically and as an agent can search across all the different chains in crypto to find the best yields, deploy capital into them from the Cosmos Hub, which can then go anywhere, and then create a tokenized version of that position as a vault, right? So you could have, for example, you could say to the agent, hey, create me a vault for the 10 best performing meme coins in any ecosystem, right? It goes to Cardano, it would say, okay, this is their top one. It goes to XRP, okay, this is their top one. It goes to Base, okay, let's take these two. It goes to Solana, fills the rest. And then it can automatically rebalance your position across all those different chains very cheaply, right? And so you don't have to be constrained to what's local. You can just think of all these chains as, applications in your ecosystem. Yeah, I don't know what that comment means. Harry Potter and Ron Weasley.
No, so I was going around it. Popped up.
Another example application that we really like the idea of is a lending protocol where if you take out a loan against your collateral, usually the reason why that is so restrictive, where you can only take out a certain percentage against your collateral, like 60% or whatever, is because there's not enough liquidity locally to quickly liquidate, right? To keep the protocol safe. Well, with Eureka, if you treat all liquidity everywhere as your own liquidity, and you can access that easily and program it, then now all of a sudden you have many more options for where to liquidate, right? Maybe all the Bitcoin liquidity right now is on Sui, right? For example, it's not, by the way, it's coming to Cosmos, but let's say it was, right? Then in that situation, okay, you could get much higher LTV because you can access that Sui liquidity to liquidate. So now all of a sudden, when I lend $100, I can get $90, $95 back instead of 50 or 60 like you can on Aave, right? Everything can be more efficient for that reason. And then, of course, that doesn't get into the kind of really cool user-facing retail apps that you can build, where you could distribute functionality and basically for your application to a much wider audience, right? Because we don't want people to make the decision, oh, I'm building on Cosmos, which means I'm not going to be able to access Ethereum or Solana or anywhere else, right? That's over. That's what the end of the bridging era means, is that period is over, right? What it means now is you can build on the Cosmos Hub, and you can treat, you could be a super Ethereum aligned application, no problem, right? And you could distribute to those users. You could use native MetaMask on your application. Users don't even know where they are, right? You could be Kaido, for example, who services every blockchain, and you could have a place to like distribute to all of them, from one place in a very cheap and easy way. That's what we mean by basically being a multi-chain developer platform.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of interop teams that kind of work in this space in other ecosystems. They're trying to solve fragmentation. In this ecosystem, they're trying to solve fragmentation in that ecosystem. We have basically said, fuck that. Like, we're not going to try to fix every other ecosystem. That's not exciting to us, and we don't think that's the right way to solve the problem. We've said no. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to build a new platform that can deal with that can deal with the fact that there's going to be a ton of different chains out there and a ton of different architectures and a ton of different security models. That's what you need to be able to build the internet of blockchains. Like, you need to start with this, not starting with some other ecosystem and then trying to fix its problems. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to build a new kind of platform, and we're working backwards from what does that platform need to be for this to be internet scale. And that's how we've come to this, and that's where we're going to take Eureka. So it's going to look really, really different than what any of these other kind of players out there are trying to do, or how they're thinking about it.
I'm looking at time, and I know we're close, but I wanted to say, I think that direction is the end of fragmentation. I think we're very excited about seeing just no more silos, I guess, or competitions, by the actual means that you want to be selecting whatever you build because the platform provides you the best programmability, the best interoperability, the best whatever for whatever you need to do or whatever problem you want to solve. Which is going to change a lot of how incentives work in Web3, how people incentivize people to build on different ecosystems, and we might see a little bit of a shakeup in terms of how we actually define what's an ecosystem. Again, Ethereum is now our Cosmos chain. We're connecting it. Like, is that a change of the ecosystem?
The end of the bridging era, it's the end of ecosystems. It's the dawn of the actual next generation of the internet. What it has always been meant to be.
It's the dawn of the end of the stupid shit we've been dealing with for so fucking long. Like, what the fuck? I do want to answer one last question by Yerman, which is, how come it is so great to work at the ICL? And I just want to say, because people like him are here, the IBC team has worked so massively hard to get this out. Yerman, Serdar, Susanna, Aditya, and then the Skip Go team, like, all of those folks are incredible engineers. And incredible to work with, and have given their heart and soul into this thing. So,
and we're hiring
and we're still
hiring
every team. That'll continue to be true for a long time. We have referral bonuses as well. So if you want to $10,000 to put into your favorite Interchain token, whatever that might be, refer folks, and if we hire them, that's yours. We have super, super high standards, not just for how good someone is as an engineer, a product manager, or a salesperson, or whatever, but also how good they are to work with, right? And so working here is, I think if you talk to anyone on the team, really fun, because you get to work with great people who care a lot about the mission, who are super talented, and who are just good folks. And I think that's super rare anywhere. And so you refer someone, we hire them, they get an incredible job, you get $10,000. Excellent deal.
Cosmos ecosystem grows, everybody's happy, We get amazing builders. We are close to time, so I'm going to go on to closing mode here. It was an amazing chat, folks. Of course, we get to see each other almost every day now externally. So always enjoyable. Thank you, everybody in the community as well, for tuning in. It's been an amazing week, amazing couple of months as well, since things kicked off with this new team and ICL. Everybody's excited in and out of the team. So we are happy. That's as easy of a definition as we can give. There's more still. Again, as Barry said, this is not the end of the line for Eureka. This is not the end of the line for what we're building for the multi-chain platform. Actually, we'll be sharing a little bit more after the town hall on that, so expect that. A technical breakdown of Eureka soon as well, I think on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. A couple more spaces as well coming with all the partners that are using Eureka and IBC in general, who are going to tell us what these new use cases and applications they're building are. We're going to be sharing a little bit more on who's one of the first multi-chain DeFi application that's going to be building on the hub pretty soon. We got a couple milestones ahead still. Some bullets to fire across the next many months, not even this quarter. We're super excited for it. And yeah, so stay tuned, folks. As of next Monday, I think we already shared the agenda of what things are looking for the next week from the streams, from the community game we're going to be opening on Monday to all the spaces. So first step, IBC Eureka, first step for one of the bigger product releases we've had on the hub in a while. Cheers, everybody. Quite a milestone. And thank you so much for coming here and for sharing as well.
Thank you, Nico.
Thank you,
Thanks,
folks.
everyone.
We'll get back to work.